Good afternoon, it's Natalie Zangon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's topic, very interesting. A topic that I've been wanting to do a talk about for a long time, but I just didn't get the chance, and now I did. Today's topic, fascinating. We're going to be talking about intimacy, sexuality, early attachment, childhood trauma, and guess where we find all the internal like references to it, to the Chumash, book of Moshe Rabbeinu. So we're going to be doing some psychology, some Torah base, and all of it connected within each other. So I wanted to do our talk today about what happens when couples get married and then they start having challenges in their intimacy and sexuality. And many things, unfortunately, that we are seeing now, a lot of different ways that people are dealing with it. And kind of looks more of a escape rather than dealing with a deeper problem. A lot of behavior that people turn into instead of looking within themselves to see where it's coming from. A lot of outward resources, a lot of outward satisfaction instead of looking within themselves. We see that affair has increased, drug use has increased, sex addiction has increased, a lot of moralities or things that was once there for the foundation of a home is no longer there. And a lot of it is about wanting to be open, wanting to explore, wanting to try things out. So part of it is let's slow down the system and see why is that? Where does it come from? Does everyone go through that, or is it some couples that go through that? So some of my favorite, utmost favorite speakers are Dr. Gabor Mate, Esther Perel, Jordan Peterson, um, uh, and a few Peter Levine. These people are fantastic psychologists, researchers, a lot about somatic therapy, trauma, and what it does to us. So, one of the things I want to first and foremost point out is when people have problems in their marital relationship, when there is no longer a sense of yearning, connection, and they don't feel as belonged and connected to their spouse, instead of immediately thinking about changing the partner, getting another partner, or trying another person, they need to figure out what is this bringing up for them. Most of the time, our early childhood attachment affects our adolescent, older adult relationship. So, what we see in early childhood that has to do with attachment, connection, and belonging affects how we seek and look for a partner in our adult life. So Dr. Garbo Mate speaks a lot about, and this is a research by John Bowlby, about secure attachment and what a healthy attachment does to a child. Healthy attachment starts from birth. The most critical part is from birth to 7 months. And even during pregnancy, the infant gets impacted by the mother's stress level, anxiety, depression, what's happening in her life during the time that she's pregnant. So, during the time that the mother is pregnant on the infant and birth to 7 months. And then the next stage is birth to 3 years. So, what happened to you during that stage of your life has impacted your outlook on how you attach to people. So, attachment and authenticity, attachment meaning being able to feel as an infant seen, safe, soothed, and secure. These are the essential foundation that an infant needs because an infant is extremely helpless, extremely needy, extremely vulnerable, right? So, if those needs were not met during your infancy, you have turned that in your mind subconsciously to a form of disconnect from your body. So, Gabor Mate says trauma is what happens inside of you. The traumatic experience is the incident, and the trauma is what happens inside of you. So trauma is not only a divorce or immigration or a war. It's also you as an infant not getting your most essential needs met, meaning that I'm in a secure place, in a loving place. I have a mother that cares about me. I have a caregiver that's nurturing me. They are seeing me. I'm feeling safe in their company. I'm getting soothed and I'm in a secure space, right? So when you do not have that growing up in your early infancy, many times it will play back in your adult relationship. That that relationship part of you, especially when it comes to sex, sexuality, and intimacy, in order for you to be in a healthy place to be able to receive that or give that in your intimate relationship, you need to have worked through these issues so that you know your authentic self is good, is worth it, is important, is valuable. You are worth it. You are being seen. You are being um, able to be yourself and loved for who you are. In that state, when you are able to reach that secure space and secure attachment within yourself, is when you are able to have a healthy, intimate sexual life with your one partner, with your spouse, and develop it and grow it. Because there's a sense of vulnerability that comes with it that you have to have worked through it. And just changing partners and going and using sex as a quick fix like heroin or like drugs, like alcohol, is not going to solve your problem. You need to heal that trauma from your inner self. So, some of the things I wanted to point out to you guys, even in the book of Genesis, in the book of Breshit, we see that God created all the animals, all the birds, everything from the earth. And human was the only one that he created from the earth that God created himself. And human is the only one that has the ability to use cognition, emotional connectivity, and belonging. And if you have the book of Breshit, Genesis, if you go to Genesis chapter 2, line 7, it says, and God formed man from the dust of the earth, and he blew into his nostril life, and man became living. So this is the number one key, that when we are going through challenges and traumas in our life, instead of changing the scene in front of us, instead of getting a quick fix, instead of that, we need to bring back living inside of our body, not just detaching and not just running away, slowing down, pausing, and come back to a state of living. How do you do that? How do you get your frontal cortex to get activated? Breathe in. Take in the breath through your nostril, just like how God created Adam. Slow down your body. Instead of detaching and being so afraid to feel what's coming up for you, pause and take a breath. This is one of the fastest way for you to access your pituitary gland, your hypothalamus, which is right behind your nose, like right behind your eyes, which affects your amygdala, which is your part of your brain that when it fires, it thinks it's in a survival mode, so it gets very agitated and anxious and detached. So you want to bring it back into the present. In order for you to have a good sexual, intimate life, you have to be more in the moment and present versus being anxious for the future and depressed from the past. So, the breath is one of the best ways to calm down your nervous system. So, we go on to chapter 2, um, chapter 2, line 15, where we're at Adam, the first human being that was created, gets introduced to all the animals in the animal kingdom and realizes that he is alone. So at that point, it says that it's not good that man be alone. I will make him a helper corresponding to him. Now, God had formed out of the ground every beast and everything. So then now over here, we see that Adam gives a name to all the animals that are there. And God says, Adam says, none of them are a match for me. So God says it's not good for man to be alone and he's going to make him a helper. So, this opposition of the differences between male energy and female energy has always been there since the beginning of creation. So, since the beginning that mankind was created, we have had that. And look how beautifully, like when God brings that Eve, that part of that feminine energy, and a tree is not offended of how it was created. The like nothing is